And hello, everybody, for the second time, round two. I did it again. Oops. I forgot to turn on the mic again, and we were going, and
it was going well.
It was going well, and that's the second time I've done that. Third time I've done that, actually.
Yeah, third time.
But
and then once with the the camera.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what the deal is, but hello, everybody. I'm Jay Wade. Over here we got Drew. Once again, how you doing, Drew?
I'm doing great. It hasn't really changed since the last 10 seconds have gone by, but I will say, since we were talking about the weather and snow, it's snowy around here. We got a couple inches today, but yeah, I'm just mainly, I don't like it because my wife has to drive so far for work, and that always freaks me out, man. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
But not because she's a bad driver, but because there's bad drivers out there.
Exactly.
Not everyone is, but I mean there definitely is bad drivers, and that scares me a bit.
Yeah.
So I'd rather live somewhere warmer, possibly.
That would be cool. I mean, not hot, but somewhere just warmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't know. I know I couldn't live, like, I was raised in Texas for the first part of my life, and it's hotter than hell down there, dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't live down there
or
anywhere that hot. And don't give me that Arizona's dry heat crap, dude. That's
hot's hot.
Yeah, hot is hot, dude. I don't care what kind of heat you call it.
I don't care. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Heat. 118, 120, stuff like that. No thanks.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I lived in Washington State, as you know, for about a year, and it was chilly all year round, and sometimes it was cold in the winter, but it never snowed enough to accumulate, and it wasn't raining all the time like people would think with Seattle, and as I lived about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours north of Seattle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much that it rained all the time, it's just it was always a steady mist kind of thing throughout the day and night, and it was just always wet.
Yeah.
But a plus side to that is the scenery and shit. It's so lush and green.
Yeah.
I was walking on a trail in a park there on the island, and it was like I was in Return of the Jedi when they're on Endor and the speeder bikes. That it looked just like that kind of luscious not tropical, but like a exotic kind of look to the plants.
Almost rainforest type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of what do they call that, underbush or whatever, where it's you got all the brush underneath the trees, but you have a canopy of trees that's everywhere. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Reminds me of home.
Yeah. Yep. Well, what got us on that was talking about the snow and how we're in open farmland and whatnot. We get big drifts and having to shovel the driveways out and all that kind of stuff.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. But with this weather comes the holidays. And Christmas is in, next week?
Week and a half.
Week and a half.
And that's what I was thinking earlier. I was thinking, there is one thing about snow for me that it does remind me of Christmas as a kid, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And then get to watch my kids. Well, I didn't get to watch them today playing it. My wife was here while I was at work, and she sent me some pictures. But it's cool. They get to do that. Of course, I live in town, so it's not nearly as cool as it was where I grew up.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot of trees around the house, and
yeah, it was beautiful out there.
Yeah, it's nice. I like trees. They're just cool, man.
Me too. I can't stand living in town, really. It's terrible.
I never cared for it either when I lived up in Gville up the road.
I mean, my neighbors are nice and everything else, and I don't know. There's something to say to look out your window and not see another house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I grew up in the country too, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Fields surrounding you, and it's great.
Exactly.
But with the Christmas comes all the Christmas stuff, the nativity scenes and you name it, the decorations, the Maui Santas, the everything that comes with it. And especially in the schools, the kids, dude, kids love Christmas, so schools interact or engage in the Christmas stuff, holiday programs and whatnot. And there was a town in Texas, and just a few days ago, and they were forced to take down a piece of Charlie Brown decoration from the holiday special. And it just makes, first thing I'm like, okay, Charlie Brown is causing a stir.
And this is a mall, you say?
No, this is a school.
A school.
Yeah.
I see.
Like an elementary school, right? And did I say mall?
I heard mall. I don't know.
Maui Santas as a part of the...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but... it's great,
that's
dude.
What I heard.
Right, I don't care, dude. Mall, whatever. School, dude, whatever. Kids, whatever. Kids, dude. So there's a piece of Charlie Brown decoration, and it had a direct quote from the movie that said, let's see here. All right, here we go. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. That's what Linus says. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So they've been forced to take it down because it's promoting a religion or what, the whole religion argument.
Well, that's
of the Savior, Christ being the Savior and all that.
Well, that's not false. They didn't take it down because that's a lie. But they're just promoting Christianity, so they need that to go? Because it's not promoting all religions, I guess?
That's what the argument is.
So they're not allowed to promote their own religion now?
They can. They just choose not to.
Okay. That's crazy. I mean, it is a school, so I guess, it's run by the state, so separation of church and state.
But freedom of religion is covered in the First Amendment.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, so they can have prayer groups, but they also have to allow other religious prayer groups too. See what I'm saying?
Sure.
Right. Which makes sense. I would rather there be no religion whatsoever in schools.
So,
but
what
that's another issue.
Is there should be no Christmas trees, and anything that is specifically related to Christmas, because that's infringing on religion as well. I mean, if that's where they're going with it, because all they're talking about there is Christmas. They're not saying that you should believe, that Hanukkah is crap or something, or
right.
You know what I mean? I don't understand that.
Yeah, because that was my first thought, was that, okay, so their issue isn't with Christmas, it's with the promotion of Christianity, but Christmas is about Christianity.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whom I absolutely do not believe was born in December anyway, but that's just another time that Christians have taken and tried to cover up a pagan holiday. Yeah. And I'm a Christian saying this, so I'm not some nutty atheist anti-Christian or something. Or I shouldn't even have said that, nutty atheist. Atheists aren't nutty. Let me say that right now. I totally put my foot in my mouth there, dude. I know a lot of good people who are atheists.
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. There should be a comma there between nutty and atheist. If I would have written it out, there would have been a comma there. I'm not nutty, and I'm not an atheist. I'm critical of other Christians because I hate it when it's like I'm guilty by association.
Sure.
So I'm critical of this stuff. But the point is that Christmas is about Christ, and it's a federal holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, the country, our government, is promoting one specific religion over all others.
That's because it makes a lot of money.
Exactly. See, you know exactly where I'm going with this, man. It's a moneymaker.
It's a moneymaker.
Yep.
Every major retailer is looking forward to this time of the year right now. And people are just, even me, I didn't spend money so much on Christmas gifts as I needed clothes for work,
Right.
because I don't have a bunch of money to be spending anyway, but I had to. And, but I know there's deals right now, so I'm obviously gonna buy right now, but oh man, they're just selling it left and right. Everything's sold out, and Amazon's making a bunch of money, and then the postal services, and everybody's just going crazy, and which also ties into the government right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, because most all my packages have been sent through the postal service. But yeah, that's I'm just saying that the government loves Christmas, loves it.
Oh yeah. Well, they love anything that's a moneymaker, but
oh yeah,
and that's why they made Thanksgiving a federal holiday.
yeah.
But yeah, that just floored me that that people are getting that nitpicky about things, which it doesn't surprise me at all the way things have gone the last 2-3 years. But it's Christmas. Christ is the first part of Christmas.
Yeah. If you're not celebrating Christmas, then you'll look right past it and think, you know what? 2 weeks ago, I was celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving.
Right.
Whatever the fuck, or whatever the heck you
Yeah.
do. But no, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everybody can celebrate what they want. It's just if you come to a country that is mainly Christian and you happen to see someone celebrating Christmas, I wouldn't take much offense to that. Go on about your business and celebrate what you celebrate. It doesn't matter. I don't go to somebody and be like, what are you doing? You celebrating Hanukkah? Get out of here.
Right.
Take that down. That's offensive. That's insane. That's insane. They have every right to celebrate whatever they believe in.
Right.
But in school, I understand how, you don't want that push on say my kid was Jewish, and they're making him sing Christmas songs and decorate Christmas stuff, and that's kind of is shoving it down his throat, and
well, there are Christmas songs, and then there's like religious Christmas songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Santa Claus and Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman. That's fine, dude.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
That's the commercial part of Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
which unfortunately has overtaken the religious side of Christmas.
Well, sure.
But it still doesn't. Just because Christmas is more commercial than it is religious now, doesn't mean that it's not still religious. Hell, it was based on religion. And I guarantee you that these people, probably not the Jewish families with the Jewish, obviously the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking all over my tongue tonight for some reason. But it's cold out there, man. I'm telling you, that's what it is. My brain froze up. But a lot of them, I would think, the ones who complain about it, in my opinion, are the ones who don't believe in God at all.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of those parents who complain about the Christmas and stuff like that, the Christ aspect of it and all this stuff, I bet you a lot of those families are celebrating Christmas. They have a Christmas tree,
mm-hmm.
They do presents, they have decorations up, and I'm not criticizing or being shitty toward atheists, but I never understood when an atheist celebrates Christmas. To me, that's a complete contradiction of what that person says they think and feel and believe.
You should just celebrate Festivus.
Yes.
It's for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
That's all I'm saying. We just had Festivus last weekend at my aunt's house. We have a poll and everything. We all sign it, whoever comes to Festivus.
Nice.
But yeah, got a fancy stand for it and everything.
Yeah.
But no, that's of course we don't do feats of strength. We play pool for that. And we don't air our grievances. We just hang out.
Right on. Play some cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Play some games. But no, that's of course you got to be a Seinfeld lover to really enjoy there's even a board game called Festivus.
I saw that.
Yeah, and they have that.
Nice.
And then there's a I forget what it's called, a Scene It Seinfeld. Yeah,
yep.
so we play that. But
My buddy has that.
Oh, man.
Never played it, but he has it.
It's a lot more difficult than you might think.
Really?
They ask very specific things from time to time, too. But, I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, if you watch Seinfeld a lot, there's some easy stuff in there.
Right.
But yeah, there's ones even I was like, I have no idea what that is or who that person was, or like producers or co-writers or co-creators or, you know. But yeah, just crazy things.
Yep. I was in the pool.
I was in the
pool. Gotta love it. Earlier I brought up Maui Santas. This is another little thing I read. I was reading about, I believe it was Tennessee. 5-year-old terminally ill boy. I guess this happened a few weeks ago, if I read it correctly. A last wish and whatnot was that he wanted to meet Santa because they had told him, he wasn't going to make it to Christmas.
Sure. Oh, I've seen that.
Did you see that
article? Yeah.
And they found the guy who worked there in the hospital who does Santa Claus gigs.
Yeah.
Called him, and he got there within 15 minutes or so and talked to the boy like maybe 2 sentences each, and the kid hugged him and died in his arms, man.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was something else. And that's what, when Santa has been commercialized, the way he is, but it's hard to deny how it makes children feel.
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't know. That's tough. It's tough to deny that. It brings them hope, even though, what is their hope? Is their hope a gift, or is their hope that Santa's this awesome person? Is that what it is? That Santa's bringing them the gifts, and he's just this awesome guy that does this.
Yeah.
Because that's how I viewed him as a kid. I'm not, But then I also seen a video on Facebook the other day that this guy, he's like, I'm going to the mall today. I forget where he was at. He's like, I'm going to the mall today to tell these kids the truth. And goes
that
in
was
there.
A preacher, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was a preacher. And he's telling these kids that there is no Santa and Christmas is about Jesus. And
that's hilarious.
And he was on the verge of getting his butt kicked. I'm telling you right now, by some dads.
I believe it.
He laughed, even though he's like, "Oh, get your hands off me," and they're trying to get him to just shut up. And but yeah, that was just ridiculous. That dude. If you want to do that at church and you're the preacher, that's your congregation. You do what you want. But when you're talking to other people and you're telling them how to raise their kids, he has no right to do that either.
I agree with you, but you got to admit you laughed your ass off when you heard it. It's funny,
I'm like,
dude.
Oh my God.
It's one of those where it's like, dude, that is wrong, but that is so funny.
It was ridiculous.
Well, I let it slip to a kid, to another little kid. I think I was like 5 years old when someone had first told me that Santa wasn't real, and
sure.
I had a friend who was my age, lived like 2-3 houses down, and then he had a little brother who was like 2 or something, and it was me and my friend and his little brother, and his mom was in the room too, and I don't know, I didn't intentionally set out to say it, but his little brother had said something about going to see Santa at the mall, and I was like, Santa's not real, and then his mom looks at me and goes, shh. And just like, I'm like, then tried to cover my tracks,
Yeah. Oh,
but
you just ruined it.
Yeah, I know. I felt bad, dude. I felt really bad. And I was 5 years old, dude. But,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny now.
You're terrible.
I know. I'm so terrible of a human being. But also to go with Christmas comes the nativity scenes.
Yeah.
And
yep.
The only thing that I have against nativity scenes is if Jesus and Mary and all of them are white. That pisses me off. And paintings of white Jesus, pictures of white Jesus pisses me off,
maybe
dude.
He's just light-skinned.
Whatever, dude. But there's a guy down around Cincy. I don't know if you've heard about him before, but this is the third year that he's put a zombie nativity scene up in his front yard.
Yeah, I remember
and he has lots of
news
problems.
from last year.
Oh, this poor guy, man. It's terrible, really, what the city and the neighbors do to this guy. But the first year it goes up and they try to make him tear it down, and he didn't, and he had to pay some fines because they got to the point where they're like, it's however much, 200, 300, 400, whatever a day that after this date that you don't take it down. He never took it down. Kudos to him.
Wow.
Then last year, it all happened again, and they took him to court, and he racked up like $13,000 in fines and crap like that. And all that was later dismissed. Thank God. Kudos to him for standing his frickin' ground, dude.
Yeah.
Sure as shit, dude, he did it again this year. I think the city's pretty much done trying to fine him and stuff, because they keep trying to pull out all these zoning issues, First it was too big, so he made it smaller. Then it was too close to something, so he moved it. Then it was too far away from something that had to be close enough to, all that crap. And he's doing it again this year, and I hadn't heard anything about it. So just the other day, I was like, well, man, I'll Google it, because, surely there's got to be people pissed off about this, dude.
Yeah.
And I Google it, and just a few days ago, somebody fucking decapitated Mary and ripped Jesus out of the freaking little manger and threw him out in the yard and tore it up, dude. And I'm like, that was either, it was either some really dumb punk kids who they either don't care about religion or they do believe in God, but they just don't care enough, just kids being kids.
They're just doing it to do it.
Right. Which I doubt, though, because I would think most kids would be like, dude, that's awesome, dude, a zombie nativity scene. Thinking. So then you get someone who doesn't like it because they believe in God.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to, okay, who's the hypocrite now? It's okay to destroy someone's property and all this stuff because it doesn't line up with what you believe.
Yeah, well, so out of the peaceful religion comes all this hate, then? Or
those are the ones I call hypocristians.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I don't like them.
I don't understand that.
They're the ones that give me a bad name. Well, I don't mean to exclude you, but I don't know about your religious stuff or if you believe anything, and I've never asked you because, to be honest, it isn't any of my business.
Yeah.
Everything I know about you is all I need to know, dude.
I'm what you call Druish.
Druish.
Yes.
Yes.
And I believe in that there's something better than me. There's something that created all this. I don't know what it is. But I believe in all religions in a way. Like anything that's going to help someone get through their life and really believe in something. And they believe, and it doesn't interfere with anyone else's life. I'll sit down and talk to anybody about any religion and just take it in as information.
Yep.
And other than that, I just believe in peace and love. Love is the only thing that I really feel that we have that is unique and special. Like something no one can take away from us. And,
right.
And other than that, there's nothing else. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm Druish.
Huh?
I believe my own way.
I like that, man. Well, and everything you say makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you can't argue with sense. I mean, you can to a point, I guess, but I'm not going to argue with sense because that's nonsense.
Yeah, and that's when, for instance, gay marriage came about. I don't care. To me, gays wanting to be married, it must be for tax purposes, because other than that, you could be civilly joined, and it's the same as being married, and it's all the same stuff. And really, I didn't care about being married myself, and I'm straight, and it's just a piece of paper to me anyway.
Right.
But when you think about it, and people are all like, "Oh, it's a sin to be gay," and stuff like that, and I started really thinking about it, who are you to tell somebody who someone can love.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it really boils down to. What if I told you that you weren't allowed to love your wife or something? You know, and that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
For someone to do. That's you can't tell somebody how to feel.
I completely agree.
You know, you cannot do that. It's impossible.
Dude, the God I believe in gave all men and women free will, and that free will includes their decisions on, like, everything, including whether or not to believe in God.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, who they love, which isn't a choice, but, you know, whether or not it's male, female, whatever is irrelevant to the fact that the God I believe in gave everyone free will, gave them the right and the means to make those choices and live their lives as they see fit. So I never understood the hypocristians who judge that, because, you know, I mean, I don't understand why they're thinking the way they are, but I understand how they can be sick in the head to the point of, you know, I'm the judge, I'm the jury, you know, this is what the Bible says, and I'm going to represent it.
Well,
that's not their job.
They think they can actually cast the first stone. They think that they haven't sinned,
right?
And they're allowed to judge, and that's their first sin right there. That's their first mistake, as it is. They're no better than their neighbor. I'll tell you that, right? And their neighbor's neighbor, and so on. They are no better than any of them. Any one person one little thing can change in them, and where something snaps, and they're a murderer now. And they didn't mean to do any of that. They can't judge that person and tell you that they're crazy or no, or they just wanted to do it to see what it was like. Yeah. You know, I mean, that there's sick people out there, and they don't need to be out on the streets, but there's people that actually need help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're no one to judge. I'll tell you that right now. Heck, half the professionals can't even judge it. So, I mean, there's been many times where somebody went to jail for, 30-plus years, and they're like, oh, whoops.
Sorry.
Some new DNA evidence came along here, and technology progressed finally to figure out that, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you weren't even there. And your alibi, that was the truth.
It happens.
You know, and it does. And they get retributions, but I don't think it's enough. But it's ridiculous to even put an amount of money on 30 years of your life.
Yeah, and you said something that made me think of something else. Casting the first stone reminded me of a little Family Guy flashback. Yeah. They're not called flashbacks. I can't remember what they're called, but when they, remember that time, blah, 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 and then they show it. But it was Jesus when they were stoning Mary, the prostitute, and Jesus famously said, whoever is not sinned, or whoever is without sin, cast the first stone. And everyone drops their stones, and then Jesus pulls out a big rock from behind his back and hits the dude in the head who had started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That always made me laugh. But something else about Family Guy that always made me laugh were the Star Wars episodes they did.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
Me too.
Love those.
They should go back and do the prequels, but, make them really bad, because the prequels were pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. Just terrible.
Yeah.
Make it, super animated, dumb.
Yeah. But, the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to see Rogue One tonight.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to the first 2D showing of the day in that theater.
That's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited, dude.
Well, I would be. I'll tell you that. I'll probably be at work.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be enjoying it, man. I'll enjoy it for you, Drew.
You better.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good time, dude. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, man, I was so freaking stoked. And then they had announced that they weren't only going to do 3 more trilogy movies to continue the Skywalker story, but they were going to do standalone movies, and they were going to release them in between the years in between the anthology or the trilogy movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is great, dude, because they said we're going to make a Star Wars movie every year until there are no more years.
Yeah.
So But everyone,
ridiculous.
Yeah, and everyone was wondering, well, what are they going to be about? Well, we've got Rogue One coming out. This is the first one, and then the next one is going to be the young Han Solo movie, and then the one after that is to be determined. They'll probably announce it at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, well, they can go on forever with side stories, and then they can keep going with the main story.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, like Rogue One, is there going to be a Rogue 2? I mean, it's just they could just keep going, literally.
Yeah. Well, they've said that there's not going to be a Rogue 2, and I'll tell you, and it makes sense because
Rogue One's probably the squad name, I'd have to assume, right?
Yeah, and and I was going to get into this because there's a lot of people who still are kind of lost on what's going on as far as they know there's a Star Wars movie coming out now, and they're like, okay, well, is this the next one, like Kylo Ren and Rey and Finn and all that?
Yeah.
And so there's some confusion here, which Disney hasn't done the best job with making it clear what they're doing here.
Well, that's good though.
Well, in a way, yes, but the confusion for just the casual moviegoers isn't really all that great.
Well, yeah. I guess you got to appeal to people that haven't seen any Star Wars movies yet, too. You got to kind of get it going on.
Or the ones who their first one was Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And now they're confused because they're like, well, this is the part 2 then, right? Or, this is the sequel. And it's like, no, that's next year.
Yeah.
And so then they're like, well, what's this one? Well, this one is actually, it's a prequel as well, but it's a prequel to New Hope. And if you remember the beginning of New Hope, it starts with Princess Leia's ship flying, and then Darth Vader comes in, they capture the ship, and she puts the plans of the Death Star in R2-D2, and then R2 and C-3PO go in the pod down to Tatooine to find Obi-Wan Kenobi to give him the plans to the Death Star.
Yep.
All right? So this movie is about the group of rebel spies who stole those death plans and then passed them on to Princess Leia.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
that's pretty awesome.
It is. It's real awesome. And in the timeline of Star Wars, the end of Rogue One is 10 minutes before the beginning of New Hope. So it's like in the timeline, it's a direct sequel. It's like basically they're passing the plans off, and then something, whatever happens at the end of that. I can't wait to find out here in a little bit. And then A New Hope starts, and they didn't have the plans for very long. Princess Leia, I wouldn't imagine so before she had to put them in R2. But
wow.
It's just, I'm totally stoked, man. It's just going to be badass. And then I want to go home and watch A New Hope as soon as I get home to, keep that story going. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so awesome, dude. Yeah. And if you remember, Jimmy Smits was Organa.
Yeah.
Senator Organa, who was the one who he and his wife adopted Princess Leia when they were split up.
Yeah.
He's reprising his role in this one.
Oh, wow.
Probably not going to be a big role, but he's in there. And all kinds of goodies and people, dude. It's going to be pretty cool. Yep.
Oh, man. Where are you going to watch it at?
Huber Heights.
Oh, you're going to the Rave Theater?
Yep.
Oh, man. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah. Nice comfy chairs, and they recline automatically. And
it better be a good show, because I might just fall asleep in there,
Oh, I know. Dude, speaking about that, we'll wrap it up with this. I went to see Doctor Strange a couple weeks ago, and I don't know anything about Doctor Strange. I mean, I know he's a comic book guy from Marvel and all that, but I mean, I'd never read anything or heard anything about him. So, I mean, you got to admit, dude, out of all the new characters they could have introduced, Doctor Strange kind of came out of left field.
Yeah. It is strange.
Yeah, it is strange. But we go to see this movie. Dude, it's not one of those where I fell asleep or, I didn't fall asleep, but it wasn't one of those where I almost fell asleep or something like that. I was struggling to stay awake. There were a couple times I remember debating on whether or not I was going to go to sleep. And that's the God's honest truth, dude. And the only reason I didn't intentionally sleep during that movie was because my buddy had bought my ticket for me, and I didn't want to be a rude asshole. But the funny thing is, twice toward the end of the movie, he got up and walked out just because he was bored as hell and had to stretch his legs. And I'm like, dude, it was just slow, and there wasn't much action. It was just mainly visual effects, and I don't know, tough. Man. It was boring as hell, dude.
Oh, that's sad.
Never in my life have I thought about going to sleep during a movie. I've fallen asleep during two in my life.
I will at home, but I've usually always seen the movie before.
Right.
Or it was just terrible, and it's a chick flick. My wife wanted to watch it. It was horrid. But yeah, other than that, no, not in the theater ever.
Yeah, it was terrible. But anyway, well, we forgot to do our announcement at the top of the show, so we'll do it now.
Sure.
Because, first of all, I forgot to turn on the mic again. But anyway, we're not going to dwell on that. and once you...
You're not going to dwell on it. I'm going to bring it up every chance I have.
I know you will, and I don't mind, though. I deserve it. But Drew and I had started another show called Shooting the Bull, and it was more light-hearted. And... talking mainly entertainment stuff, music, movies, stuff like that, and is I don't know. I like talking about that stuff, but I also like talking about politics and social issues and current events and stuff.
Sure.
But we're both so damn busy that we had to cut one out and decide to cut out Shooting the Bull. But that's okay because we're still going to bring it back every now and then and do some fun, lighthearted stuff like that. But Drew's going to go ahead and join me as permanent guest or permanent co-host.
That's right. I'm here for good now, people.
Yep, ain't getting rid of them. So get used to them like I've had to over the years. And we're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off for the holidays, and then we will be back sometime shortly after the new year.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Definitely.
That's right.
And have a happy new year, too.
Yeah, that's right.
But for the Jcast experience for the last time this year, 2016, been a hell of a crappy year. Let's strap in for the next one. That is Drew.
And that's Wade.
Later.
Later.